Thinking. And we are live. Oh my God. Woo! Happy new month, people. Happy Black History Month and happy a bunch of other things History Month. How are you doing, Kimmy?
I'm doing great, doing the mom life, today. And, it was a nice Sunday, it was pretty relaxing. I made dinner for the kids and, it was nice to have them. I hadn't seen Matt since we got back from the conference. So this was the first time I gave him some of all the little swag stuff. And, he was all happy about that. I gave him the
like
bag.
the little bag that I gave him.
I gave them the bags. Yes, they love them.
So I guess you were Mama Beasting, and I'm making Mama Beast a verb because I can.
Yeah, because we can.
Yeah, so you were Mama Beasting. Is that what you were?
I was Mama Beasting today. Made good dinner, and just kind of hanging out with the kiddos and getting stuff done around here. The week is so busy. These weekends just are jam-packed full of stuff you don't get a chance to do during the week when you're working and stuff. So it's nice.
So welcome to Moms for Trans Kids podcast. I am trying something new. I'm actually trying something new. What I want us to do is have our little chit chat even before we say welcome to the show, because I feel like people already know the show as opposed to just welcome to the show. I just want to try that. And I thought that was really nice. So my name is Dr. Lulu, aka the Mamatrician, aka Mama Beast. And if you're just joining us, the show is called Moms for Trans Kids. Moms, the number 4 trans kids. We meet every Sunday if we can to talk about Mama Beasting. I mean, it's kind of what we do. If you are in the LGBT plus parenting space, you probably have heard about Mama Bear, Mama Bears. And I like Mama Bears. There's nothing wrong with that. But, I just wanted to try something different, something that fits me more. And I use the phrase beast mode a lot when I'm talking. So I was like, you know what? Why not Mama Beast? And I kind of feel like maybe we can say Mama Bear is a softer version of Mama Beast. Who knows? But my friend and sister Mama Beast is here with me. Hey, Kimmy.
Hey.
And if you heard Kimmy, you probably heard her say something about the conference. They're like, what conference, right? So the conference is called the Creating Change Conference, which is put up every year by the LGBTQ plus task force. If you don't know about them, look them up because they are good people. They are our people. They are our tribe for real. So Kim and I and Steven and Nadine and AC by association, because AC wasn't able to make it, when AC was there in spirit, had this event. We had a caucus called Parents Supporting Parents Conference. So Kimmy, lead us into why you decided to go to the conference and how was the journey to the conference, both physically and emotionally, and then we can talk about, parents supporting parents. What is that and what is that about? But yeah.
Well, thank you for the introduction. That was very helpful. If you don't know by now, I am a Mama Beast of 2 sons who are the love of my life. As a parent, you're going to do anything you can to support and love your kids. This is what we do. This is how it's done. So I'm not saying we're perfect. What I'm saying is here that I happen to have, I have 2 sons that happen to be transgender, and, I'm along for the ride. My oldest is 22. My youngest is 16. He'll be 17 in a month. And, the conference to me was important to go to because that's what we're doing. We're trying to create change. And there's a lot of momentum on, the other side of the house that are trying to create their own change. But we're louder. I mean, we're not going to go away. Our kids aren't going to go away. And We're just here for it all, So that's what we got to do. We got to support each other. We got to share the wins. We have to share the losses. We have to share the mistakes. We have to share the journey. We have to talk about it and make it okay to just talk about in general conversation, talk about our kids.
Normalize Mama Beasting. I think I love that. I've always loved using the word normalize. We have to normalize. If you're going to talk
Mhm.
about your child who got straight A's, you got to talk about the child who's struggling in school. If you're going to talk about the child who graduated from college, you got to talk about the child who's struggling in kindergarten. If you're going to talk about your child who is straight and heterosexual and getting married, I'm going to talk about my child who's trans. I mean, it just is. You don't get to talk about yours more than me or whatever. I mean, it just is what it is. So for me, I am here, just like Kimmy says, along for the ride, and I'm going to do everything in my power to get the word out there. Period. That's it. And so we want to talk about this conference that we had the opportunity to spearhead, a parent space, a safe space for parents. It was amazing. I took a chance. I said, you know what? Let's see, will there be any bites? And don't you know, before the conference, I was like, if there are more than 4 people, it's a win. But we had 30, 27 at when I counted, plus 4 of us, so 31 people. And I'm sure there was more people left, and people came in.
Yeah, people
But
were in
it
and out.
was,
Yeah.
yeah, it was so good. I had zero expectations that anybody's going to show. Honestly, I need to stop that, but I did. I'm just going to be honest. People showed. And then what happened at the end, Kimmy?
They stayed. They wouldn't
They
leave.
stayed. Oh my God.
And we just let them.
Yes.
That's what happened. That's what happened. It was an amazing experience to,
He was amazing.
I was wondering I was wondering if parents were going to be, first of all, brave enough to come into this space. Then, second of all, brave enough to be vulnerable in front of a group of people. However, at the Creating Change conference, they did create a safe space for a lot of these type of discussions. So I think that helped, with people feeling more comfortable to share their stories and to share their journey with us. And that they did. It was joyful. There was laughs. There was flat out, heckles at each other. There was tears of joy, tears of sorrow, maybe shame. There was just so much emotion in one room. It was amazing, and I was really happy that it didn't end on time, and we got to keep it going a little bit longer. I mean, we did get kicked out of the room, but
I mean, we didn't even really have to leave the room because we were the only event in that room that day, which is why we were able to stay. And so we just at one point we're like, okay, listen, we have to eat dinner. We have to we have to move on. And if you're wondering what was the meat, what was the content, Kim and I literally, it was crazy because there was, I don't know, it was like ice storms everywhere. There was snow or whatever the things that winter was doing second week of January. So it was frozen. Planes were getting thawed or de-iced or whatever the phrase is in flying language. People's flights were being canceled. Listen, as at that evening, we had only me and Kim were there of 5. So Kim, what did we do that was crazy with the agenda? What, because we had, okay, so I'll say what we had done before, and then Kim, I'll let you take over from what we did because I asked you that question. So before that, we had this master plan. All 5 people were going to choose what 2 things they want to talk about. And I was going to, try to kind of weave my way around it, asking them different things and their expertise and all the good things. We did a practice session. We did another practice. It was so good. And then AC got sick. And then we're like, okay, so, we're still going to ride with it. 4 out of 5 ain't too bad. And then Kim showed up. Okay, great. I'm coming from Atlanta, so I'm going to be there. And then, boom, flight cancellations like no man's business. And it was, I don't know, negative 200 degrees. It was so cold, Kimmy, wasn't it?
It wasn't that cold.
It was cold like that for me. As a Nigerian, speaking with my full chest, honey,
it was cold for you.
It was
not cold for me.
And then I was like, Kim, if only 2 out of 5 speakers are there, we cannot have the agenda the way we wanted to have it. So what did we do, Kim?
Well, we had to go back to the drawing board and design a caucus with just two people, by chance, we just were going to have to lead the discussion. So I think the best thing we did was pull together and rehash the outline that we wanted to talk about, some of the things, and how it was going to run. And we had plan B. We had plan B the night before the event. So, it was a little bit of a late night, but it wasn't too bad. And I was real happy with plan A and B. So I didn't really care what we were going to do.
Straight up. I absolutely love plan B. So what we did with plan B was, rather than focus on people's expertise, which was the original plan A, which was good enough. Mm. But when they say necessity is the mother of invention, I think people, I think for me, I also, for my own mental health, I need to start believing that truly the universe has never really let me down. If anybody has let me down, is me. I have let me down by always being in my own way, because what we now came up with was like a watertight, amazing journey, which was what we now designed. Mm-hmm. And we rolled with it. And then, of course, at midnight, one person came, and at 2 a.m., the other person came, and it was like, boom. And then there were 4. But I was like, we're rolling with the plan B, because plan B just looked at, like we say in South Carolina, looked at so amazing. We talked about, what are you thinking even before you have children? Which I think there's no better way to introduce parenting than that, because we're all thinking something. So Kimmy, just to kind of take a little bit of go back a little bit, what were you thinking? Even before you had children, did you think about the gender of your child, what they were going to look like, how tall? I mean, what thoughts did you have? And then I'll talk about mine, and then we'll go on, because I thought that was something that people don't talk about ever. Mm-hmm. We just talk about the child. But what about what happened before the child is born? What do you think?
Well, I'll tell you a quick story. And here's the thing: is this is real talk, right? We tell it like it is. I was kind of a late bloomer with starting out having kids. I was 30 basically.
Hey, me too.
Yep. But so with that, with a geriatric pregnancy, so to speak, I was not happy about that.
So what we say in medicine, not that I'm trying to correct you, I mean, you can use any phrase you want. But what we say in medicine is advanced maternal age. So I had my first baby at 29, you had yours at 30. I only say that because by the time I had my third child, I was 35. And oh my God, they threw everything at me and the kitchen sink because of my age. At one point, I had to tell you, I said, look, if you say one more thing about my age and this pregnancy, I'm going to walk away and I'll never come back. And that was it. I was like, I'm 35. I'm not the oldest person,
I was 34 with my second, so I get it. Yeah, yes. And it was like a high risk, all that. So, and so you hear all these words, right? And they're the ones that said geriatric pregnancy. And of course, it burned in my brain.
Said that?
They said it, yes.
Oh my God, that's a shame, because we do not say that. Nobody says that.
Oh, well,
I should have known. Okay, this was that. Yeah, because where would you get that word from? That's I mean.
Yeah, this was over 20 years ago. But yeah, I was, whatever. But I wanted to find out more, so because I'm type A and I'm a planner, and I want to make sure I have the room just so. I want to make sure I've got clothes and the right kind of clothes, and I want to make sure all of these things are done, and I wanted to know the gender just so I could plan, because I'm a planner. But with my oldest, he didn't cooperate during the ultrasound. His legs shut, locked, never to be seen until about I want to say 2 or 3 weeks before he was born. That's when I found out. So after the shower, after all, and so I've got yellow and purples and greens and rainforest theme for the bedroom, so I'm trying to make this all gender neutral stuff, right? I'm just thinking about that now, saying it out loud. It really sounds hilarious now that, I have 2 sons, and here I am working on gender neutral stuff even before my first one was born, So yeah, I I had expectations. I really wanted a healthy baby. They saw a spot on Matt's brain or something like that in the ultrasound, so they worried me to sick, and so yeah, it was just very uneventful for a first pregnancy. I was just like, nothing's going to my plan, so it's a little set back from that, but healthy baby, comes out, pronounces, here you have a girl, and this is, and I'm like, I was kind of thankful that I had a girl, but that's because I know girl parts better and how to change diapers and all that, so that always scared me a little bit. So, I was kind of glad. I was kind of glad
first
that
time mom, I think, is understandable. Actually, what I was referring to, and I think I have a talk. I'm going to be talking to some churches, a whole bunch of churches, actually, matter of fact, in the next several weeks. I actually was referring to what people, and this is for the listeners. I want you to ask yourself this question: what were my thoughts before having my child? This has nothing to do with the pregnancy or the gender assignment or even finding the ultrasound. I need people to start thinking about what they're thinking about. Oh my God, this is so good.
Well, I wanted to, if it was a girl, I definitely wanted to, have them in dance class and have them do a lot of things that, that I knew and I could teach and I could share, with my kids. So,
I love
there
that.
were some expectations that way.
Yeah, there's no right or wrong answer, but I'm just saying, because of the work that I do, because I am now, and thank you to the person showing us love. Thank you so much to those who are watching. Please let us know who you are, and we'll give you a shout out. I am now, because of the work that I do, I am now convinced that we need to, first of all, stop with the gender reveal parties, because it's a genital reveal, as you know. If you don't know about that, just go back and watch. And that's actually that's the most frequently listened to and most frequently watched episode, is the one about gender versus genital reveal. So go watch it or go listen to it on the YouTube channel at Dr. Lulu Talk Radio, until we change the name, but go there. But so I want people to start thinking about what they're thinking about before having a baby. I'm only saying that because, knowing what I know now, everyone is gay. I think Lizzo is the one that said that. I think everyone is gay. And if you're not gay, you're on your way to be to that, or you know someone who is. I say that because most people are not thinking that my child might be gender neutral, my child might be gender diverse, my child might be asexual. We're just not thinking that. So I want people to start thinking about that, if that makes any sense. I want us to start thinking about what we're thinking about before having babies. Because if you start thinking about anything, you're going on vacation, you're going to, I don't know, Finland. You look up Finland, now you know about Finland, you're thinking about Finland, you're thinking the right things about Finland. So when you get to Finland, there'll be less surprises. This is what I'm selling. I'm going to box it and wrap it really nicely and sell it. Because I did not think that. I don't know anyone who thought that. But guess what? My child came out and is transgender. So because there's so much hate, I love the way you said it earlier on. There's just so much people on the other side of the house or room or street trying to create their own change. And our children are stuck in the middle of the road. Somebody has to go and get our kids. And I'm not going to let them get our kids. So anyway, I thought that it was interesting that we did it that way. We wanted people to talk about, what were you thinking about before what were expectations? Did you think you're 2 boys and 1 girl, 2 girls and a boy? In my case, I was like, oh, I think I want 2 boys and a girl, because I thought it was up to me, which is just hilarious, right, Kimmy? It's like, yeah, because it's up to me. I get to decide. Like,
right. I'm gonna have.
I'm gonna have. I want to have 3 kids, 2 boys and a girl. I just see it, and my girl is gonna be so pretty, and they're gonna da 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 da.
You know what? When you say it like that, though, I always wanted them to. I guess I got what I asked for. God, I'm
exactly.
revealing my deep. Is this a counseling session? What are you
I
doing?
mean, I said the same thing. I said I wanted 2 boys and a girl, and I keep saying it until my daughter finally said, "Mom, you've always had a girl. Like I will never forget that." No, no, she said
Yeah.
you've always had a daughter. I'll never forget that sentence
Yeah.
because my whole life I was like, I want 2 boys and a girl. And then I said, "Oh, I'm a boy mom. Oh God, I'm a boy mom." And she was like, "Mom, you've always had a daughter." Honestly, what we say does come true. The universe does conspire to give us what we want.
I guess so, because I wanted them to match. If I had the first one was a girl I wanted another girl. And if the first one was a boy, I wanted another boy. Well, they match.
They matched.
Kind of.
Either way,
Actually,
that's so funny.
I should specify that my youngest is still on the journey, right? And there's a lot of fluidity when you're watching these journeys transfold. So you just watch and see what happens and be there for them. But yeah, apparently
I think what
got
Kim
the
is trying to
same.
say is that her younger child is gender fluid at this point because that's
Yeah.
the term that we have for now that we can use.
Yeah.
We're not obviously assigning to the child, but the child is expressing gender fluidity. And I think that's what we're saying. And that is another thought that we know nobody's thinking, I want my child to be gender fluid. Yeah. But guess what? If I'm going to make any kind of transformation for you in your thoughts, not you, Kim, but to you who's listening, then I want to offer you that this is a possibility. So if you don't have kids yet, hooray. I need you to start thinking about what you think about when you're thinking about your children. What genders are you assigning already? Because it's what we do. It's what society makes us do. So anyway, it's the bottom of the hour. And if you know the show, then you know we're going to pay our one little bill. So the people over at, oh my God, Kimmy, this feels so crazy because I'm in Atlanta. And normally I'm talking about them.
I know, this is so different. It's a new year.
Yes, I usually say they're down on the northwest side, and I'm just like, wait, they're not down on the northwest side of where I live, but this is so crazy. But the people at Apollo Wellness, y'all need to go check them out in San Antonio, Texas. If you know the people at Apollo Wellness, or rather, first of all, if you're LGBT and you're looking for an affirming doctor's office, yes, even in Texas, yes, the people at Apollo Wellness will take care of you. If you have any kind of run-ins with HIV, let me put it that way. These people are affirming, they are specialists, they will take care of you. Tell them Dr. Lulu sent you. Apollo Wellness, they will take care of you. And yes, they're on the northwest side of San Antonio. I don't happen to live there anymore, but yes, they are down the street. Oh my God, that's crazy.
Way down the street for you now.
Way down the street. So, but we're back. We're back. So the show is called Moms for Trans Kids, where mama beasts like me and Kim and Vicky and Foster come and we just talk about life as mama beasts. So Kim, to make a little bit of a segue, we have a Facebook group. And if you don't know that, if you go to Facebook right now and type in accepting, affirming and supporting. Yeah, accepting, affirming and supporting. By the time you write that third one, my Facebook group will pop up. Just ask to join. Give us your email if you'd like us to set. If you'd like to join our email list, and then boom, I haven't even sent any emails in a long time. So don't worry about your inbox being spammed because I've been going through a lot of changes. But in that Facebook group, we usually have like prompts and have people just kind of share their thoughts. And this past week, we were sharing thoughts about what are your thoughts about being a parent of an LGBT kid. That's all I put out there. What are your thoughts about being that parent? And we had a parent that had an interesting response. And her response was in regards to her child's name. And you know, if you're a parent of a transgender child or a gender diverse child, gender variant child, there are lots of ways to say it, gender non-conforming child, one of the things that you will have to contend with is a change of pronouns and change of names. So, Kim, we had this mom who was struggling with that, which makes a lot of sense. For me, I just got lucky that my child's name, chosen name, starts with the letter P. And so I didn't change the nickname I had for the three kids because it was I spelt it with the P was the first word. I didn't have to change that. I didn't have to change, like that. There's a big letter on everybody's room. I didn't have to change that because the letter is still there. And when everybody moved, everybody took their letter. So in my case, I just and it's funny because the name I had picked was that exact same name with an ES. So I really got lucky.
Aww.
Yes. But it wasn't up to me. I didn't even have any prayer. Just like, okay, when they told me their name, I was like, because but I do want to affirm that a lot of parents struggle with names. So Kim, how have you, as a mother of not one but two trans children, one who has changed their names more than once, how have you, in all honesty, navigated that arena?
So it was tricky because it was tricky for me because my oldest picked a name, stuck with it, changed it on the birth certificate, driver's license, everything. It's still there today. And so I thought that's how it worked. It took a while to get used to his new name and the new and calling it the he him pronouns and so I was like, whew, this is hard, and then I have my second one, and as they're going through their journey, they're trying on a couple different names, and sometimes their journey can be very dark times. And I think sometimes these kids might associate a name to some darker times. And I think that's why some of the times the names might have changed, 3 or 4 times so far. And you know what? I respect, that's the thing, is it comes with a lot of respect. You have to respect your kids. You have to try to have some sort of trust that they can lead you into, a successful relationship, continued going forward into adulthood, as long as you're supporting and affirming now. And that's what I did with him, and I'm still doing.
And so have
this new number 4, but and of course, when you get approached again, the second or third time, you're just like, and I don't hide facial expressions very well. So I'm trying to not roll my eyes. I'm trying to not huff and puff. And what about me? And now I got to change it in my phone. And, it's me.
Which are all real.
It's all
and
easy.
It's all real and it's all bona fide. I want the parents who are watching to zoom in on Kim, because usually I'm asking the questions. Most people don't ask me, but I'm asking, and I want you to see Kim is just you. It is normal to roll your eyes if that's what you want to do. It's normal to be like, oh my God, there we go again. It is not, it is very normal. What we're saying is roll with the normal, roll with it, and don't say, well, don't do this. Because as Stephen explained to us at that event, and if you'd like to watch the full hour and some change, it's also on my YouTube channel at Dr. Lulu Talk Radio. You see the whole hour of the Parents Supporting Parents caucus that we had. And Stephen explained that he did the exact same thing. So you're not alone. This is normal for people to do this. However, when Stephen now, because Stephen had the approach of, oh my God, why are you changing and why are you choosing this name? And this name doesn't make any sense. Guess what happened? Stephen's child did not ever tell him the reason. This is what happens when we act, like when in my case, when I reacted with, Oh, every time I saw someone gay on TV, I was like, oh, there's another gay guy. Oh my God. Why do they have to be so much? Why do they have to be so extra? I was not invited in until very late in the game. Stephen was not invited in until very late in the game because, oh, we have a comment. Oh my God, this is amazing. Thank you so much, Melissa. I'm going to read that out in a minute. But Stephen was not invited into the game because Stephen did not like that his child was changing the name multiple times, or not multiple times, but chose a name that they thought was like out of a cartoon character. And that was actually true. But it turned out that Stephen's wife, who had passed away a year before the child invited Stephen in, liked that character. And that was the reason the child picked the name. So again, if your child is older and your child is trying out names, sometimes your job is to lean in and ask those 3 questions that I always tell you all to ask. You never go wrong. Or rather, say the word, not ask the question. Tell me more. I watched a TED Talk and that lady said that. And I was like, yes, tell me more are the 3 words that are the most affirming words when your child or when someone is telling them. It's like, that is the curiosity key right there. Wow, tell me more. And that tells them you're in. Even if inside you're like, oh my God, say tell me more. So Kim, you want to read what Melissa says? Melissa, thank you so much for your comment.
Sure. Melissa said, when my son transitioned, someone asked me if I mourned for the child who no longer existed.
And then she follows up with,
I told them my son was there from day one. We just needed to wait for him to finally emerge, and I celebrated this. That is
can we
beautiful.
just give Melissa flowers? Oh my goodness. So Melissa, I don't know if you know me.
Exactly.
And one of the things I want to do now is I'm going to be creating merch from our podcast, Moms for Trans Kids podcast. And I'm going to be sending it to people. So Melissa, if you can hear me, if you're still here, I need you to send us an email, moms4transkids, the number 4transkids@gmail.com. Send us an email. Remind me that you wrote this and I said, send me the email so I can send you some merch. I'm having bracelets made and some other fancy stuff made for the Moms for Trans Kids because I learned that from Podfest. I want the people to feel like family. So Melissa, thank you so much. What an amazing thing to do. I did not do that. I was busy mourning, until my kid was like, wait, Mom, stop making this about you. Why are you mourning when you should be celebrating? Your child is here. That's exactly what my kid said. Kim, do you have anything to say to Melissa? This is so cool. Melissa,
Yeah.
thank you so much.
Yeah. I mean, who is your child? Are they a name? They're not a name.
They're more than that. Oh,
they're so much more.
I'm writing
so much more than a name.
Stealing that and writing about it tomorrow. Yes. Is your child not more than a name? Because we keep holding. And you know what? Stephen told us, and the other lady at the event said, oh, we picked the name because it's half Japanese. My wife is Japanese. And then Stephen said, oh, we picked the name because it meant this and it meant that. And it was your grandfather who named you and all the things.
Mm-hmm. It was a beautiful video, and I'll post it in the Moms for Trans Kids website, that one specific clip. I have a clip of the conversation between, with Stephen and the name. So that.
Please, can you share that onto the Facebook group as well, if you don't mind?
Yeah.
And
yeah,
maybe tag me because I don't think I saw that clip. I don't think
I edited it and cut it.
Yes, if you could please tag me, I'd appreciate it because I think the name thing is a big deal. And if you're watching us and you have any questions, you have any concerns, usually the last quarter of the show is when we take questions and concerns and just contributions. And thank you so much, Melissa Feldhaus. I'll try to find you And but if I don't find you, please, please, please find me, Melissa. You deserve flowers. My child was way more than just a name. Woo!
Yes. He chooses his name, so he would keep the initials he was born with. You know what? These
Exactly.
kids are so considerate, and we
They're
just
so
don't.
considerate.
We
Yes,
haven't even given them credit. Like,
I know.
okay, my youngest changed his name 4 times, but he still wants to preserve a little bit of the middle name because it's a family name, and he's going to tweak it a little bit. And it means so much that he's going to do that.
I
He
love
doesn't
it.
have to do it for me, but he knows that it's going to make me feel good. And you know, so he's trying this name on, and you know, if it sticks for a few more months, I think we're ready to make some moves.
Yeah, this
Really
is
make
so
it
good.
permanent.
I think for me, I was very most proud of my child who had before my ex-husband passed away, had completely excommunicated their ex-dad, is what we use the term. But she wanted to keep the last name. She said because she wants to have the same last name as her siblings. Because I don't have the same last name as my kids. I never changed my last name. And when I got married to their dad. So again, here we see these children being so mature. Now, of course, not everybody's child is 24 like my kid. Not everybody's child is adult. And we don't know Melissa's child, how old they are. It doesn't matter. But I do want to say to you, rather than ostracize and castigate and get all upset about, oh my God, I thought long and hard, because the name that we give to my first child meant a lot, because it was based on the fact that their grandfather had just passed away, and this meant it meant a lot to their ex-father's side of the family. But it doesn't mean a lot to the child. And I think what we need to realize is that our children are affirming a particular gender and a particular person. So that person may not understand your thoughts when you are picking the name. And our job as parents is to say, you know what? Sure. It's not that serious.
It's not that hard. I mean, we learn far more complicated stuff as
And of course,
adults.
as
It's
somebody
not
had
that
said that,
hard.
if your sister got married and went from Mrs. James to Mrs. Brown, guess what you would do?
We do it every
You're not
day.
going to ever tell her, oh, Mrs. Brown is so hard.
And I like your example too of the when we talk about pronouns and the they thems, and we talk about you used an example one time, like I left my water bottle, or I found this water bottle over here, I wonder if they are going to come back and pick it up. It's English language.
Exactly.
So don't get too hung up on
Yes, exactly.
pronouns either, because it's still English language.
It's
Just
still,
because you don't always use it.
And actually it's just not more commonly used, but it doesn't mean that it's not. And I usually say, if you're walking down the street and you find a water bottle, you say, oh, somebody lost their water bottle. That's it. I mean, it's someone lost their water bottle.
Yeah.
Because you don't know yet what the person's gender is and what the person's pronouns are. Oh, look who's all right.
Look who's here.
We have a special someone here. Were you mourning the loss of the child you thought you had? Just a thought. No, but that's why I already kind of responded to that. I don't know what time you came into the conversation. I was mainly, and I don't use the word mourn, because I just don't use the word. But I'm a wordsmith, so I don't use the word mourn. I never thought that. What I struggled with, and I have never ever used the word mourn, but I definitely struggled with the way, because before my child ever told me that they were a trans woman, I already started worrying about what the world will do to my child, because I know what Black trans women go through. So it had nothing to do with, this is not the child. Mine was the future for the child. Every single day in the news, you see, say her name every single day. Yeah. So I struggle more with that. But what about you, Kim?
Well, I've always been very accepting, and an ally of LGBTQ communities, but I don't think I'm I didn't mourn, and when I'd never heard the term mourn, and it didn't quite describe what I was doing. I
Yeah,
think
me too.
what I was doing was kind of going into my own head with the fear factor of it all.
Of the
The
future.
what, like what am I going to say to family, and how am I going
Yes.
to explain this to work at a work function, and how am I going to go to school, and how do we deal with gym class and locker rooms and bathrooms, and your head just starts spinning. So to me, I didn't mourn any loss. I felt like I knew him now versus
Oh,
not quite so much, because it was
oh Lord. Kim, are you there? All right. So I'm not sure what's going on at Kim's end. She's frozen and I can't hear her anymore. But for until she comes back, let me see if I remove her, she'll come back. All right. So the show is Moms for Trans Kids podcast, and I am I think we lost her. So she's still frozen. She's still frozen in the back. Um, yeah. Melissa, thank you so much for, I think, Okay, Kim is back. Okay, now she's back. I'm just going to add her. Hi, welcome
okay.
back.
Sorry about that. I guess
That's
every
okay.
Sunday night I have technical issues. Works all week, but
Yeah.
whatever. Where did I leave off?
Melissa was like, did we lose her? Oh, Melissa is so sweet. And I
So
said, I think you're going to come
I
back.
was
But
saying I didn't feel that morning. Like I didn't feel a mourning. I felt like I knew my kiddo better, and I felt like I was honored that he trusted me to come to me to talk this through and educate me, because I didn't really know a whole lot about the transgender community. So I was open to learning, but I was scared. I was scared as hell. To how is family members going to so it was more fear, I think, that drove me.
yeah, I think ultimately, and Melissa, if you can hear us, would you mind chiming in? What were your thoughts? Did you mourn? Did you not mourn? Oh, actually, you already told us that. But did you have fear about the future? Because I also want to affirm every parent who's listening right now. I want you to know that it is very normal for you to have fear of anything when it comes to your child, period, whether trans or not. But what I'm saying is, you're just as afraid when your kid is first going to kindergarten, right? How are they gonna be? You're afraid when the kid is going to college. How are they gonna be? But guess what you do? You roll with it. And so I want us to remember that, because a lot of us, what we do is we have so much fear that we now stunt our kids' growth. We now stunt our own growth. I know heaven knows how much I've grown so much since I came.
Quickly.
Yes.
Quickly.
Yeah, and I allowed myself to grow quickly. And I know some trans people, I was at an event yesterday, and 5 trans women were talking about how they're like, well, you know what? You could take however long you take. I don't subscribe to that school of thought, because in the Black community, we have so much suicide and so much trauma. And in the trans community, we have so much suicide. I will say, if you can do it faster, do it. That's just me. Kim, what about you?
Oh, absolutely. Time is of the essence. You can't waste time. You can't wallow in your own pity party. You gotta, you've got to educate yourself and know what risk factors there are going into this journey. There's we talk a lot about the joy, but there is still, like you mentioned, a lot of the fear because of the violence and things that we've seen. And we have to talk about that too. We have to talk about the tough stuff too. I mean, I know we like to talk about the joy, but we got to talk about the tough stuff. And being afraid.
That's what you said at the beginning, that you can't have, it's parenting 101. There's joy, there's pain. Melissa says, I was afraid of how family would accept him. I was afraid of how his friends and coworkers. Exactly. This is what we're talking about. And I think This is actually
exactly.
a pivotal moment for us. So, Matt, thank you for the question. This is a
Yeah.
pivotal moment for us. So, this week I'm going to write content based on this as much as I can, about the name thing, but I zero in on this fear because I know that's what you see. That's the funny thing about owning your own story is no one can take it from you. And so
Mhm.
my own story it was rooted on fear going forward as a Black
Mhm.
trans woman,
Yeah.
dating, you know, finding love, being able to breathe. That was a struggle for me. So I'm going to write my newsletter today about that fear,
Nice.
of moving forward. So I'm just going to highlight our email for partially for Melissa, if she would like to, take me on my offer, but also for everyone, because I think one of the things that we're not doing, or I have not been doing enough, is telling people about the fact that we have an email and you can email us your questions, email us your concerns, email us guests that you think we should have on the show, email us anything you would like
Topics.
to hear. Topic, yeah, exactly. Anything you would
Yep.
like to
All the
hear.
topics.
If you know anyone, I met a bunch of people this weekend, and I think I got like 10 more people signed up. I think we're in August now. I think I'm not sure, but
Oh, geez.
Melissa, if you'd like to come on the show, Melissa, this is you don't have to. I do recognize the fact that there's also the safety factor, but I think we're booked into August now, if I'm not mistaken, because people actually want to come and we want to give them the mic. So the show is called Moms for Trans Kids. We are Mama Beasts, Mama Bears. We are here. We're not going anywhere because our kids are here and they're not going anywhere. And Melissa says that they will. I want you to hear how I just said Melissa says that they will. Remember that when you don't know somebody's pronouns, your default is they until they tell you their pronouns. I'm doing a lot better with that now, with just asking people their pronouns. Yesterday, when I was getting people's phone numbers, I wanted to I was like, wait, what are your pronouns before I write she or he or whatever. So, Kimmy, what going away words do you have for the people for the week?
Um, Going away words. Well, I wanna go back to the analogy that you used when you said our kids are in the middle of the road. They're in the middle of the street. You've got us parents over here making a ruckus, and you've got parents over here that love their kids, and I get it. Um, and they're making a ruckus. But what we have to do is have common education to kind of come together and have talks and try to understand each other's views. I think during the Creating Change conference, what was the term that they used? Let me go back to my.
Adult, adult.
It
Hold on.
was
It was adult something. I don't know.
the term was it was basically struggling, like struggle forward. You have to have these tough conversations with both parties, with both sides of a view, and come to some sort of common ground. The
I
common
think.
ground is we all love our kids,
Mhm.
but
I
what
think, Kim, I love you to pieces, but one of the beautiful things about everybody having their own beautiful mind is I completely disagree. When it comes to my child, no one gets that opportunity. I just will not. I will not engage. I don't have bandwidth. You can argue about, not you, Kim, because you're obviously affirming, but whoever can argue about their own
oh
kids.
no.
I just will not allow them,
Oh.
because what else are they going to, what are they going to
Because I don't
ask
know
for
if
next?
that's her video or my video now.
What are they going to ask for next? They're going to ask for my child's head on a plate. So, but obviously everyone is allowed to raise their kids how they want to raise their kids. But I'm going to affirm my child because I do not want to get flowers, to have anybody sending me flowers on account of my child, because this is what they think is right. So this is the end of the show. Kim, unfortunately, is struggling with tech. Oh my God. But Melissa, thank you so much for joining us. Matt, thank you so much for joining us. This has been an amazing conversation. Never fails whenever Kim is here in the space, or whenever Mama Beasts are in the space. Really, it never fails. We're always having just a fun, educative conversation. So I'm going to leave y'all with this. you are not only the most important, you're also the most influential person in your child's life. So your thoughts matter. In the next couple of weeks, I'm going to be starting my brand new gender affirming practice here in Atlanta, Georgia. It is because I live in Atlanta, but the practice is going to be virtual. So if you can hear me out there, if you're looking for support, if you're looking for community, if you're looking for family, if you're looking for someone who's on your side because your child is queer, my name is Dr. Lulu. I am a life coach. I'm a pediatrician. I help parents live their best life as they affirm their queer children. So my work is with all queer children, not just trans children. The podcast is about trans children, but my work is about queer. It's a gender and sexuality affirming coaching practice. And Melissa, I can see what she wrote. Melissa says, I'm so glad I found you. Then Melissa says, I am near Augusta. Yes, Melissa, let us connect. Send me the email because I want to see how I can connect and maybe even come and come speak to y'all wherever y'all are. But yeah, so that's what I do. I'm a speaker, I'm a life coach, I'm a mama beast, and that's just kind of how this is how we roll. All right, folks. Melissa, you are the ultimate mama beast for joining us today. Kim is here just in time to say goodbye. Hi, Kimmy.
Hi.
Just
Sorry
in
about
time
that.
to say goodbye.
Sorry about that.
That's okay. I already kind of rounded up, so just say goodbye and then that's it.
Well, I just wanted to, Matt's texting me. I just wanted to let you know the definition of talking things through that I learned at the Creating Change Conference was principal struggle. And principal struggle is that you can be in disagreement while staying in communities. And we don't have to agree on something to look to further our relationship. It doesn't have to stop a relationship. So with family and friends and people that might have a hard time understanding or accepting your kiddos, this principal struggle, this is where we're at, but we have to have these tough conversations to get the education out there so that we can find some common grounds. So that I like the definition of principal struggle. I thought that was interesting.
So y'all look out for Kim's book that's coming. She's going to be talking about principal struggle. As far as this Black immigrant mama beast, we're not going to be principal struggling anything. I think, and this is part of the whole agree to disagree. Because my child fundamentally is a Black trans woman in America, we're not going to be. I mean, it's just everyone is free to do what they want to do.
Yep.
And once in a while, I think about Matthew Shepard. I never knew him, but I know that you don't even really have to be Black for your life to be at stake. So
the Matthew Shepard incident happened
he
at
was
the same
gay,
time
right?
Matt was coming out.
Yeah, he was gay. Yeah, exactly. He was gay. And he was not like he was trans. And, with all due respect to him and his family, mourning the loss of their child, this is what happens when other people think that, I know you more than you know yourself. And so, you know what, I'm just going to take the life out of you anyway. And sometimes there's just no ground for them to even come in to try to understand. And I want to say to them, it's okay. You don't have to understand. But so do I. I also don't have to understand. I think that's what at one point we have to just agree to disagree, just like now, because
we don't have the same journey.
Yeah, exactly. And I breastfed I breastfed my child for 23 months. Very, very long time for me to now at this point be okay with someone telling me that, oh yeah, sure, your child does not deserve to breathe, but my child does. Oh no, that's not going to happen. But
that's not negotiable. I'm just saying that, if there are people that are trying to understand, those are the people that
we can engage. Exactly. Absolutely. Absolutely. I totally agree.
Boundaries.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, this is kind of why we do the podcast. For those who want to understand, we are ready to have the conversation because it's a journey for us too. And that's all there is. But Kim, while you were gone, Melissa said that she's glad she found us, or they are glad they found us, and that they live near Augusta, Georgia. So I thought that was amazing.
Oh,
So this is,
nice, nice.
yes. So we might be Melissa might be coming on the show. Who knows, right? Because Melissa has some
Good.
things to say.
Come on.
Melissa has some things to say. All right, folks. We didn't mean to stay over the hour. We kind of started late anyway, but the show is normally on Sundays at 6 p.m. Central, 7 Eastern. If we're not able to make it, then you will not see us. That's kind of it. Because like when we were at the event, we just couldn't make it. We were flying. And if we're able to make it, you will definitely see us. So thank you so much for joining us. Kim, it's always real with you. I love it. I love it so much. Give your babies a hug. I'll see y'all on the flip side. I gotta go. I do believe the Oscars are on tonight. So I'm gonna go
The
watch.
Grammys are.
Is it Oscars or Grammys? Which one is it? Grammys. Okay, the Grammys are on tonight. So I'm gonna go watch. I'm rooting for Janelle Monáe, who is proudly Black and proudly queer.
I love them.
I hope they win, yes. And so I want to go see what's happening. I don't have a TV in my apartment yet, so I got to go to they have a common room downstairs where you can watch TV. So yeah. Okay. All right, my darling. It was so good to see you.
All right, we'll talk soon.
Hugs. And thank you so much again to Matt and to everyone who watched. We got a bunch of love. So sometimes I don't see who is watching.
Yeah, I can't see all the comments.
Yeah, I can't see all the comments. So I'll go back.
But afterwards I can. So
yeah, when all of this is over, if I go back into the groups, I'll see your comments. I'll be glad to respond to them. So if we don't respond, it's because we can't see them. But on that note, peace, love, and always so. Bye. I love you, Kim.
Love you too.
See y'all next Sunday. We probably have a guest next Sunday, so that's going to be amazing. Bye, hon.